Wow. What a difference a week makes. What's up, guys? Welcome to Wrestling Council. And yeah, effective immediately, Phil Brooks, aka CM Punk, has been terminated. As you can see here in a statement from Tony Khan, he says All Elite Wrestling has terminated the wrestler and employment agreements between Phil Brooks, CM Punk, and AEW with cause, effective immediately. The termination was confirmed today by Tony Khan, CEO, general manager, and head of creative of AEW. The termination follows a week-long internal investigation of an incident that occurred backstage at AEW All In London on Sunday, August 27th. Following the investigation, the AEW Discipline Committee met and later convened with outside legal counsel before making a unanimous recommendation to Tony Khan that CM Punk be terminated with cause. Khan offered the following statement. Phil played an important role within AEW, and I thank him for his contributions. Termination of his AEW contracts with cause is ultimately my decision and mine alone. Then why have the discipline committee there at all? Of course, I wish I didn't have to share this news, which may come as disappointment to many of our fans. Yeah, you think, especially going into All In. Nevertheless, I am making the decision in the best interest of the amazing people who make AEW possible every week, our talent, staff, venue operators, and many others whose efforts are unsung but essential to bringing our fans great shows on television and at arenas and stadiums throughout the world. Woo, boy. Yeah, Dylan, yeah, old Tony Flank grew some nuts. Yeah, it's just his timing is shit, though. Terminated with cause. That's not something little. Yeah, that's the piece that's the statement. That's the sentence that's got me going. Okay, so just a quick recap to go over what we do know. Because here's the thing, guys. We still don't know. We still don't know all the details. Okay, let me see. I'm trying to get like a better thing here. Okay. We still don't have all the details about exactly what happened backstage. We have a decent amount of information. We've got some pretty important ones, including a couple new pieces that came out a few days ago. But basically, from what we've been able to piece together, Jack Perry during his match with Hook, he made a reference to an incident. Yeah, exactly, Johnny. I would hold off on this until Monday, and then put it out there. Although I'm hoping, I mean, if Tony's smart, what he's going to do is he's going to basically tell everybody that bought tickets for All Out, expecting to see CM Punk, and there's going to be a bunch of people because it's in Chicago. He would be like, look, if you want a refund, you can get a full refund. Here you go. And just real quick with some more Malcia said that can cost Phil some money. I guarantee you he's going to lawyer up and he's going to try and sue them to get his money. Mal said, we will never know. It's always going to be he said, she said in tribalism. Well, we're going to talk about that in a minute because there was a couple pieces of information that came out that I think made this really easy decision to make. Dylan Owens said, I love Punk, but there's a time and place. I defended Punk for too long. And well, here's the thing, guys. I don't think, look, is a lot of this on Punk? Yes. He made a very bad decision. But I put the onus for more of this on Tony Khan for allowing this environment to exist. Okay. Tony should have done what he just did last year. He should have put his foot down when all of this stuff. And like I said, this incident is not the only one that happened. Obviously it's the biggest, and this is a continuous thing. But there were fights backstage between Andrade and Sammy Guevara and Eddie Kingston, and there were multiple incidents. And it seemed like it was ramping, and it just seems like it's been ramping up more and more and more. So this is something that Tony should have done. Like I said, at the end of the day, you're the boss. You're the one in charge. You're the one making all the decisions. You're, like you said, he's the CEO, general manager, and head of creative. So he's wearing all the hats. And if you're wearing all the hats, you've got all the power. You've also got all the responsibility. Get yourself out there, put your boots on the ground and get this shit taken care of. But like I said, the incident, we all know the basic details. Jack Perry made a statement during his match with Hook. Said when he went through the windshield of the car, said that's real glass, cry me a river. Then he went backstage. The reports were conflicting, but the most common reports now saying that Punk actually stepped up to Perry, not Perry stepping up to Punk. Punk asked him if he had a problem. The most recent report says Perry said he was just trying to get some heat. They got into a shoving match. Punk at one point put Perry into a headlock, into a choke, got pulled apart. The most recent report says he then actually lunged at Tony Khan because because it was also reported that he and Tony Khan had got into a very, very heated argument before the show even started. And they were actually concerned. The announcers were actually killing time because they didn't know if he was even going to go out and wrestle the match. Samoa Joe stepped in. He played peacemaker. He convinced Punk to go out and do the match. They went out and did the match. It was awesome. Came back and Punk went back. He went to his dressing room, and it was later that both he and Perry were suspended. Apparently, the argument was over a couple things, including issues with Punk's transportation once he arrived in London. Punk at one point was screaming at Tony Khan, saying that he quit. And it was said that there was literally after that, there was no communication between Tony Khan and CM Punk, which is interesting because Tony's been the biggest CM Punk supporter from day one, even after look what he did after the All In scrum. They literally gave the man his own show, and even though there was no official report, we all know that Punk was basically a producer on Collision, had a lot of say, if not, most of the say, and about what went on with that show. He did everything he could to placate CM Punk. And to be fair, it seemed like CM Punk was towing the line. Now, one thing that's been happening is there's a lot of people that are screaming at the Elite with this. The Elite haven't done anything since the All Out. The Elite haven't said a word. Not a word. Okay, so you can't put this on the Elite. All right, this is squarely between Punk, Jack Perry, and Tony Khan. Okay. In fact, it wasn't the Elite. The Elite, none of the Elite, including especially Hangman Page, none of them were taking shots at Punk in their promos or anything like that. Now we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but then again, we can't quote on what's going on behind the scenes because we don't know. But Punk made a couple of very public comments about the situation between the Elite. So at the end of the day, this falls on three people. It falls on CM Punk, it falls on Jack Perry, and ultimately it falls on Tony Khan. Now, the biggest piece of evidence of information that has come out is the statement that there was footage of the incident that took place between Punk and Jack Perry, because as one person said, there are cameras all over Wembley. They're everywhere. And the fact that one, unlike the All Out scrum that happened last year, this year there were a lot more people who were witness to what happened, including Tony Khan himself, because the fight basically was so violent and all over the place that it literally it actually hit the grill area and supposedly knocked some monitors over, and Tony himself almost got hit by it. Then there's a statement that Punk made a lunge at Tony and was screaming that he quit. And then there's the fact that there's cameras, and there's cameras all over the place. So they have video footage, and the fact that they've basically come down and said, boom, this is we all knew that it wasn't going to take 3 or 4 months like it did with the All Out scrum. We knew this thing was going to get resolved very quickly. I'm surprised that they made this statement today, because this is going to create absolute freaking chaos. Yeah, you can't quit, you're fired. Yeah, it's yeah. You're fired. But the fact that this came down this quickly, and that this came down, that basically they've made a statement. They said this before All Out. And again, reserving judgment, because like I said, we don't know exactly what happened, and we probably never will get everything, but we will eventually get a report, official report of exactly what happened. But ultimately what it comes down to is Tony Khan has basically had enough, and they have released Punk, and they have terminated him, which means he doesn't get the rest of his money. Any agreements, any kind of compensation and whatnot that he's supposed to get going forward, he's probably not going to get. That's why I think he's going to lawyer up. But the fact that there's video footage of this, that basically, I think that was the nail in the coffin. And there's a lot of people making statements. They saying they think Punk was trying to get fired. They think he did this deliberately, that he was just fed up and he was done. There's better ways to go about it than this. I don't know about the validity of that. And again, regardless of the fact that he is the epicenter of the whole thing, you cannot put the complete onus on on CM Punk. All right. At the end of the day, I think it falls on Tony Khan. He's the one who allowed this kind of environment, this chaotic environment, to continue. And I said it before, and we said it again. He either needed to step up, or he needed to hire someone to be his sheriff. And apparently he stepped up. What happens to Collision going forward, in my mind, I would build the show. Drummer Converse says we will probably find out what happened with Brawl Out of Punk's lawyer. Punk's lawyers up. Yeah, 100%. I think he's 100% going to lawyer up. I'd be shocked if he didn't try to sue to at least get some of the money that he was contracted for. I don't know that he's going to be able to get all of it, especially considering the fact that every report that we've seen says that Punk is the one who got physical first. Okay. And the way it works, I've gotten into fights in the workplace before, long time ago when I was a young man, and it didn't matter that the guy was goading me. It didn't matter that he was instigating me. I'm the one who got physical first. I'm the one who got fired. So, I don't know what kind of standing Punk has, and we also don't know what the stipulations in his contract are. He may have been like, I'm guaranteed X amount, so I better get X amount. We don't know. I'd be very shocked if he did not lawyer up on this. But getting back to what we said, as far as where Collision goes from here, I would build it around Joe. I would build it around Ricky Starks, Andrade, the people that have been there from the start, FTR, House of Black, Joe. I would really, and honestly, I would really push Brian Danielson, who, from what I understand, he's actually been working with creative over there on Collision. So I wouldn't put it past them to have him to start building that show around him. It wouldn't be a bad idea. But they've got talent over there. Are they gonna take a shot? Are they gonna take a hit in the immediate time frame? Absolutely. But Yeah, yeah, and Mal, yeah, Punk was going to have a bunch of merchandise supposed to come out. I would say screw the rest, just let the merchandise contract stand. I mean, it depends. Yeah, absolutely. Danielson versus Joe would sell some tickets, man. Joe versus, and here's the thing. The biggest, one of the, basically, in my personal opinion, the best wrestler in the world today, Will Ospreay, who, by the way, whose match at All In was one of, if not the best. He's going to be a free agent soon. And if I'm Tony Khan, I'm driving a Brinks truck of money up to his house. He said in the past that he doesn't want to leave New Japan, that he doesn't want to move to the States. However, recently, I think All In kind of opened his eyes a little bit, and recently he has said that he's open to offers. If I'm Tony Khan, I'm, like I said, I'm dropping a blank check in front of that dude, and I'll bring him over. I'll bring him to AEW and then build Collision around him, because Will Ospreay is fantastic. He's amazing. But he's got talent that could step in and take over the creative process over on Collision. And like we said, there have been some amazing banger matches on Collision. Freaking Andrade versus Buddy Matthews was freaking phenomenal. You've got Malachi Black over there, very charismatic guy. Push him, and now they got the trios tag butt towels off them. You could push him and his guys in a singles role. As a faction. Yeah, there are options there. They're gonna take a hit in the interim, but there's stuff they can build for in the future. Drummer Converse says overall it just sucks that Punk Elite Parrot couldn't put personal aside and do business. The injury has been built on it. Money left on the table. Well, here's the thing. Especially recently, you can't put this on the Elite. The situation between them was basically it was resolved. It was, we're going to stay away from each other. We're not going to talk about each other. We're not going to reference each other. We're going to be over here, two ships passing in the night. Now, as far as Perry's concerned, I still think Perry was being a petulant child. Perry, he wanted to, the story is that he wanted to do a spot with real glass because he wanted to show that he got hurt so that he would be written off television for a while because he was going on vacation. It's like, dude, there's safer ways to do it. You don't have to go through real freaking glass. You don't have to be John Moxley for the night and bleed all over everybody and everything and potentially risk your life, because if you don't think glass is dangerous, go talk to shit, my brain just took a crap. Go talk to Wayne Gage, I mean, Nick Gage. God, I'm always fucking that shit up. But anyway, that guy almost died. Dylan said, I'm not a huge fan of the Elite, but Punk is a very much older man, yells at a cloud. Hard for these two groups to see eye to eye, and harder for Punk to keep his mouth shut. Well, Punk has always been a diva, and I've said that from day one. But at the same time, as long as you're willing to, put your foot down, you can keep him on the straight and narrow. So I think since having the family, he truly realizes his worth and will go where the money is. The thing about Punk though is everyone's talking about he's going to go to WWE. Would Hunter make an offer to him? Sure, but Hunter's not going to let him come in with this chaos going on. Okay, they've had issues in the past. Not to mention the fact that freaking Vince hates Punk's guts and vice versa. And Vince doesn't give. Here's the thing: the WWE doesn't need him. So I don't see him going. Oh, you're talking about Ospreay? Okay. Oh yeah, Ospreay 100%. And that's the thing. Ospreay in the last 3 or 4 years has matured a lot. He went from going 1,000 miles an hour to realizing he learned how to do it right, and he learned how to do it in the ring. So. But anyway, we're getting off topic. And like I said, I wanted to keep this video short. It was actually gone a little bit longer than I want. But just real quick recap, AEW and CM Punk, they have parted ways. He was terminated. And Collision tonight and All Out tomorrow is going to be really interesting. Me and Hollywood will talk more about this on Tuesday. Appreciate you guys being here. Have a good day, guys.